I'm Daemonxel, and this is your Eve Echoes Community News, where we take a deep dive into all the happenings of the week. But first, like always, if you enjoy my content, go ahead and tag that subscribe button, ring that bell, share and like the video. Then, of course, you'll stay up to date with everything we do here on the channel. Now, there is a bunch of news stories to get through, but I first want to tap into what's going on with the server war, because we have kind of reached a lull, a plateau, because there's not really a lot of fighting anymore, and that's because of the decision that Silent has made to go ahead and forego all of their sovereign territory and invade the heart of the CC. That's right, this isn't an April Fool's Day joke. They decided to burn their own Sov and haul everything out and invade the territory. Now, this does come as quite a surprise because something like this has never been done before with a huge nullsec block, especially in Eve Echoes, and I don't even think on Eve Online that this has happened to this degree. Naturally, I had to reach out to both sides and find out what they think of exactly what's going on. And I reached out to the Crab Army contact, which was Ozure, who's one of the leadership of the CC. And I asked him what his take was on Silent declaring they're going full offensive and burning their entire lands. Ozure turned around and said that it was a good start. We'll see if Silent and all their corps have the resolve and unity to carry this self-immolation out fully. Of the roughly 35 of their own Sov Silent destroyed the past 2 days, they left the bulk of their jump gates and much of their high-value Sov. If they meant to burn their boats and remove the anchor preventing them from mounting an effective offense, they've got some boats still to burn. They'll show us all if they stick to their guns or if they hold onto the remaining Sov in the weeks to come. Now, he did go on further to say that depending how completely Silent evacs from the north, it'll be curious if anybody gets interested in living in those parts left over. It is a bold move for sure. And I'm told that this definitely took the CC by surprise. So naturally I had to reach out to Silent, and I talked to Zen and asked him exactly what was behind the idea of going full offensive and burning everything to the ground. And he stated that it's been pretty slow for our pilots up north. There's not been nearly as many targets to shoot as earlier in the conflict, since we completely stalled their momentum. So much so that the KillBoard numbers stagnated and they stopped engaging on a larger scale. To accelerate this conflict, we decided to take this opportunity to relocate much closer to most of our enemies. We are shortening the geographic distance between us and our enemies. If the CC pilots want to have Sov that they can't fully use and defend in the +8 time zone, then they can keep doing that. A citadel without add-ons and upgrades is a docking station. That's about it. It can help with Ansible and jammers, but overall, for the general player, it's just a spot to dock or store some stuff. Lifting routes up is challenging, and it's good to see so many folks excited to make this move. The pilots are fired up and ready to fight. We are moving south to get the fights we want, as week after week, CC has stood down or not engaged our pilots. So the cool thing is there is no timers to protect and only timers to choose from offensively. And that it should be a lot of good content for our pilots. Obviously, it's a little disjointed because I did hit him up early in the morning before he's had his coffee. And I'm told from sources within Silent, obviously the fighting has stagnated because they haven't gone full offense yet until they've made sure everything gets out. All their cap fleets, all of their haulers, everything else. Now, this doesn't mean that the CC is just sitting back waiting for this to happen. They have been able to attack some of these fleets and take out some of these precious haulers. Now, moving into a story that's adjacent to the server war, and one of the I find is one of the coolest stories coming out of this entire war is the story of the Alliance OTO. Now, if you're not familiar with OTO, we have talked about them in the past. That was the alliance that was part of the CC, but then they decided they didn't really want to keep attending these CTAs, so the CC effectively gave them the choice to go gray and not attend these CCs. However, Turning Gray basically gave the green light for anyone else to attack them. They're not protected under that cloak of the server war. Now, that's what I was told by the CC Army about OTO. However, so close to them, said that they were actually forced out because they were wanting to be forced into a merger with AOA. In fact, in the Reddit post itself says OTO was an independent alliance and a member of the CC during the war and was forced out of the coalition by the AOA alliance and forced to merge into them and pay a large amount of ISK to rent and continue living in the space that they actually owned. Now, OTO dropped out because they didn't want to do this, and they chose to fight for their SOV. Now, obviously, it's a losing battle because AOA is huge, and they were massively outnumbered, but they did stick to their guns, and they did defend their SOV. Obviously, they lost all their SOV and was wiped out. But, as a form of gratitude to all the pilots that did stay and protect their homes, they were all issued medals in real life that was shipped to their house. And I think it's great. It's a little keychain. It has the Alliance logo on it, and the box itself has an inscription on it, and it states that it's to commemorate the OTO members with this medal only. At a critical moment when the enemy is outnumbered, use steadfast determination and extraordinary courage the universe will always remember. I just personally think that this is a fantastic way to honor the people that stood there by your side, even knowing that it was basically a moot point. You were going to lose your SOV. I half expect that after this war, maybe some other medals will go out, basically saying, you know, I survived this X amount of month war only to receive this medal. But either way, this is a great story. It's heartwarming. I just actually think it's one of the coolest stories coming out of this war so far. So, the other day, CC actually knew about this for a little while, because the community managers are being a little bit more forthcoming with events that are coming up, but we are strictly under an NDA not to discuss about it. But because there was a leak on the Chinese server, everyone found out about the intelligent nano core, which is now released and in the game. And there was a huge controversy because in the past, NetEase has always banned botting, stood against botting, yet now they have released their own botting system. Obviously, it's hidden behind a paywall. It's not a huge paywall. It's around $100 US, just to fully upgrade your nano core to the golden, and then to unlock the AI unit, which will go ahead and do those high-sec missions for you. You can set a number of jumps. You can set it to 0 and stay in Clarum. You can set it to just doing anomalies instead of missions. But this was a huge controversy part, and we didn't even were told about the other things that were in the patch notes. And as soon as the patch notes dropped with no information because no one talks to us, the devs don't talk to us, and before anyone actually had hands-on with the new systems, these skills that dropped as well, everyone was ranting and raving about it. So I decided to, let's bring this to voice comms. And on the official Discord, I invited everyone to come into comms and let's discuss what's going on. Now, I was first followed by a couple players, and then it grew to like about 10 players, and more came. I got a hold of Benzie and asked him to read the patch notes, and then if he could, join us on comms. And then just all of a sudden, comms just blew up. There was maybe not hundreds, but there was a lot of people getting in on this conversation, and it did produce some good things. I mean, obviously there was some catcalling, some arguments, other things, but the moderators did their best job to keep everything a little less chaotic. So a round of applause to your hardworking mods on the official Discord. They're not paid employees. So thank you guys for doing that in this impromptu huge discussion. And this discussion went on for about 3 hours. Now I am told that was recorded, and I'll probably release. I'll get a copy of it, and I'll release some tidbits from it. But the general talk was about how this game is becoming more and more pay to win. How every event is just not giving substantial content to the game, but just a more and more grab at your wallet. Now, what this did, though, is it did spark interest, and it created the want and need from the community for a CSM. Now, if you're not familiar with CSM, don't worry about it. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. It's something that was designed in EO to bring the community in, and what it stands for is the Council of Stellar Management. And it's a player advocacy group consisting of about 10 members democratically elected by the players to advise and assist NetEase in the continuous development of EVE Echoes. The CSM brings focused and structured feedback from the community to NetEase and represents their views and their interests. Now, it's kind of like a union, just to kind of negotiate with NetEase to steer them into the direction of what the community wants, because they're coming out with things that the community has never even asked for. Now, I'm hoping that this is going to gain ground and that, they will work hand in hand, because we've seen it do that in EVE Online. And they are holding elections. Now, if you are interested in this, I'm going to put a link to the Discord in the description below. You can go ahead, you can voice your opinion, you can decide if you want to be a part of this council. You can run for to be on the seat of the council. But we're all hoping that maybe this will bring the devs to the table, because us CC and mods, none of us have actual contact with the devs. I want you guys to understand that. We don't talk to the devs at all. We'd like to. We have to DM them sometimes, and we get their attention, but it's never an open discussion with them. All our gripes, everything that we've brought to the table from you guys, from the community, over the last 3 years, we've brought to the community manager, who then in turn brings it to the devs. So it's always sometimes lost in translation. Sometimes we don't know if the message is getting out to them. We don't know, because we don't have access to them. So hopefully this does take off. Hopefully this does work out in the favor of the community, because we all love this game. We all want to see it succeed, and we don't want to see it spiral down into a cash grab until they shut down the servers. And in other news, congratulations goes out to X Corporation for hitting $1 trillion in ISK in damages over the month of March. Now, obviously, there has been a lot of destruction because of this server war. I mean, massive amounts. We've never seen this much destruction before. But this is one of the biggest numbers I think we've seen in the game in a single month. And it's racked up by 628 kills. Now, this is off the KillBoard supplied by Echoes.Mobi, because obviously we do not have an official API. This is the closest thing we can get to. So you can go check on the leaderboards through the website. These are the top 6 killers of the month of March thus far. And just a big round of applause goes out to X Corporation. Now, there is another format you can see this in, not just the Echoes.Mobi website, but Honk has actually made another version of this, and I believe it's MarioView.honk.click. I'm going to put a link to that in the description below as well, but it's a great way of looking at these kills in a new light, seeing some lists. You can put out filters so you can search specific kills. And on a more somber note, unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to another member of the community who has passed away. This member is Demolition Man from the NILF community. It was learned that, unfortunately, he had taken his own life in December. But NILF does want to let you know that they are having a small memorial event to honor the passing of Demolition Man. And the fleet will start on Saturday, the 25th of March at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. UTC. It's going to be forming in OBE for a quick trip to their former SOV in Gemini. They say that everyone is welcome to fly along with them, and they want to urge that all parties in Echoes respect the procession and set aside war stuff for a little bit. Remember to check your fellow pilots, especially if you have not heard from them for a while. Our community is small, and every person matters. And we always hate to see someone pass away from the community, especially so tragically like this. So go ahead and support NILF, and please do not fire upon them. Let the procession proceed. Let it go on, and we give a final salute to you, Demolition Man. And to end on a little bit of a high note? I don't think we can call it a high note, but basically they are trying something new with the content creators. And what they're doing is they're giving all content creators their own special code. And what you can do with this code is you can take it, if you're on an Android device, you can go into the settings and hit redeem code. Otherwise, you can go to the gift grab portion of the Eve Echoes website and then put this code. My code itself is Daemonxel, no space in there. And yes, it's small. It's a 5K SP. I know it's tiny. It's the devs want to give this out to the community to thank the community and thank the content creators and their communities as well for supporting the game. And I know it's like a slap in the face, especially with these new skills, with the amount of skill points needed to level these. And it's only an hour worth of training, but they're trying this out for down the line where they give more exciting opportunities to us content creators to give you guys back more through these codes. Now, the nice thing about this, though, is you can redeem up to 5 individual codes from 5 different content creators, giving you a total of 25,000 skill points. I know it's not much. It's about 5 hours of training that you don't have to worry about. So go ahead and get your special codes from all these content creators and put them in. Grab your free skill points today. And that's going to do it for us this week. So if you need more news in your life, I'm going to send you over to Rambo and Taylor Rick's legendary show, the Echoes of New Eden podcast. It's every Sunday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, whenever that correlates to your time. That's when it is. If you want to be part of this live studio audience, just be in that Discord, in that channel before they go live, because the channel is capped out at 25. And if you don't make it into that live studio audience there, you can always jump in on the YouTube Overflow channel, because we're taking questions and reading feedback from both both chats. Yes, I know I'm part of it sometimes. You'll see me here and there, depending on how hectic my Sundays are. And we also wanted to say a shout out to the Echoes of New Eden Radio. They have a great program every Sunday afternoon where everyone just forgets about the war, forget about politics and everything, and just go and have a great time. You talk about things that are going on in the Eve Echoes, some things that are going on in the Eve on the Line, and basically just jam out to some great music. And of course, until we have our official API, echoes.mobi for all your KillBoard needs. So, have a great week, have a great weekend, fly safe, and remember, we're always one vision, one purpose, one friend.